howdy ho, everyone. You may hear my little kitty cat. He's trying to be all up in everything. I, whenever my whenever my mom was, uh, I guess it was when she passed away. Um, I didn't take either one of my cats. I never usually didn't take them back and forth, but my mother-in-law would go down every day and feed them. This was, I think it was the day of the funeral for my mom, and she called my husband and she told him that she had smelled it. Now listen, granted, I had been gone for, I had not been home for several weeks, and one of my cats is part Maine Coon, and they're like really attached to their person. Hey, LT. But anyway, girl, listen to this. So my husband told me, he waited later on to tell you. He said, "You're not gonna believe what my mom told me." And I said, "What?" And she said that she smelled something, and she went in our bedroom, and there was shit and pee all in my bed from my cat. We didn't know which one. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And ring on, hey love. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" Of course, at the time, I was like, "Okay, well, did she clean it up or what?" He said, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I was like, "Okay, I'll deal with that when I get home because I'm a bigger piece of fry." Whenever we got home, I want you to know, uh, oh my god, she didn't clean it up. Let me just tell you that. It's okay. I'm not fussing about that. I mean, I'm sure she was like, I wish she would have just like shut the door or whatever. Anyway, so after that, okay, so I like Googled. I didn't know what in the world. I was like, I called the vet, and they said that I probably need to bring them in. They probably need Prozac or something, checking for a UTI. And I said, what? With the litter box, I have an automatic litter box, and I had several of them because I knew I wasn't going to be home. Anyway, the litter box wasn't overly, I don't know. I don't know if it was because they were mad because I had not been home for like 3 weeks. I had been gone. And my husband come up, when my mom got, when we knew it was getting closer, he come up. And so neither one of us was home. So anyway, so we ended up putting them both outside. And I was fine with it because I was like, okay. So I get home and I clean the mess up, and it wasn't. If I had a pile of like if I would take clothes out of the dryer and put them on the couch, and then go do something else and not fold them, they would get on anything with a pile. They would get up there and pee, and they've never pooped again. But they would freaking pee on stuff, and I'm like, oh hell to the no, no, I'm not. No, I cannot. I'm not. I don't. I don't roll like that. So they become outside cats. Well, my black one, my part Maine Coon, he's got long hair, and it was hot this summer. So I let him back in, and I watched him really, really close. And he hasn't had any accidents, but anyway, I didn't know what in the world. I don't know. So now when I go, so I'm on my way up. My sister lives, she lives in the house since my mom passed away. But I'm on my way up there, and I'm going to be up there until after Thanksgiving. Anytime I go now, I take his butt with me. And now Tom, my red cat, he was an outside cat anyway. My mom had him, and he was getting under her feet a lot, and so yeah, I got him down here because he was my good. So anyway, uh, got him down here. He was like, okay, anyway, but he really said, he was but then he was always a cat about it. I tell him, doing research and stuff, and he's not still good at anything, but he's got a lot of the say. And so I just got wanted to be. And he making husband, I make the heck out of him, I'm not with him. I never got to be on his, never got to talk to him. Okay. Now, what about now? Can you hear me now? Let me know if that's better. Hey, Classy. Is that better, LG? Okay, good deal. I had it plugged into my Bluetooth. I don't know. But, okay, good deal. What did you hear? Was y'all able to hear any of that? But I'm not telling it again. Anyways, it's about my cat shitting in my bed. Oh, gosh. Have you guys been doing good? I have been, so my sister that lives in Florida, okay, good deal. My sister that lives in Florida, she's 70 something, and her husband's, I mean, gosh, he's just really, really, he's a couple years younger than her, but he's in bad health, bad health. And so whenever they were coming up, um, they couldn't, I mean, they got, it's like a 14-hour drive from their house to my mom's. And she had called me and she said, and my mom, so before she passed away, they say they get a day where they have that, a spurt of energy or whatever. Well, she did. She wanted to go outside. Her friends come to see her, a couple of her lady friends that she hadn't seen in a while. And she was just so alert. I mean, she had not been alert. She had been dozing a lot, but she was just alert. And we got her in the wheelchair. We took her outside. I mean, it was just a wonderful day. And I asked her, I was talking to her. She said, we need to go. I said, where you want to go, Mama? And she said, I'm Cherries. And that's my sister that lives in Florida. And that's the only one that wasn't there. You know what I mean? And they were trying to get there, but her husband's in really bad medical condition. And I said, Mom, they're on their way. They'll be here. They'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully she's on her way. And she kept saying Cherry. And that just like let me know that she knew that, she wanted to see her. So anyway, I talked to my sister's husband, and he was telling me what a hard time she was having, driving. And I said, well, how about if I get somebody to bring me halfway, and I'm going to drive to meet you guys, and then I will just drive you guys in. And he said, JoJo, that would be great. That would be awesome. And so I called around, and my brother's ex-wife is still like, she's like part of the family, always will be, like a sister to us. And she said she would take us. Well, I had broke my arm really, really bad. I don't know if I had come alive or not. I broke my arm in two plates. I mean, it was bad. I got rods, and it was awful. So I had just gotten my sling up, not having to wear my sling, but I'm still by far. Should I have been driving that far? But look, I was going to take it on the chin. I was going to take one for the team and do whatever I needed to do, to get my sister up here. But my sister-in-law decided that she said, I'll take you. And one of my sisters drove up, and she said, do you want me to go? And I said, I would love for you to go, but I'll do it. So anyway, they went and got them, and Mom, they got here before, but I got to tell you guys this. So this is crazy. So when my sister-in-law got there to get me, she come in the bedroom to see my mom, and she looked at me. And I said, I'm ready whenever you get ready. And we had called the nurse, and the nurse to let her, because my mom had, when she woke up that morning, she just wasn't, she had definitely took a turn for the worse, I wasn't communicating. I couldn't get her to, wake up, and it was just, we knew things that was changing. So my sister-in-law, Gina, looked at me. She said, do you want to wait for the nurse to get here? And I said, yeah, I'd like to. I don't know what to do, though, because we've got, it's imperative that I go get I wanted to make sure my sister got there before anything happened. And so anyway, we didn't leave. We waited. And you guys, so she's standing by the hospital bed. I'm down at the foot of the bed. My sister that lives there, she had went outside to smoke a cigarette, and my sister-in-law was standing there, and she was holding Mama's hand, talking to her. And Mama had not been. Mama hadn't spoken to any of us in days, And it's been several days since she had, besides the day that she had her spurt of energy. But she was sitting there, you guys, and she was laying there. I was down at the foot of the bed, and I was texting my brother and all that. And all of a sudden, my mom opened her eyes and looked up at the ceiling. And she said, I finally made it, as plain as day. And my sister-in-law finally, and I said, you did? And she said, mm-hmm. So I got my phone and I started recording. Hey, Devious. I started recording, not so she could hear, so you could see her, but just so we could hear her. And I said, you did, Mama? I said, is it beautiful? And she said, mm-hmm. And I said, is it colorful, Mom? And she said, mm-hmm. And I mean, I was getting very emotional as I'm saying this to my mother and my sister-in-law. I mean, I'm just like, uh, and I said, Mama, is there lots of flowers? I've read that there's lots of flowers and it's very colorful. And she said, mm-hmm. She never spoke, said another word. She just said, mm-hmm. And I said, whew. I said, Mama, I said, did you see Daddy? And she didn't say anything after that. She didn't agree or anything. So my brother got there. My sister walked in and I said, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. So after that, okay, my mom was there for, that was on like a Wednesday, and she didn't pass away until Easter morning Sunday. So she still hung in there, but she wasn't able to communicate or alert. She would wake up, but you would have to like get right up in her face, and she would look at you and zone in on you for maybe 2 seconds, and then she was like looking past you, looking through you. You know what I mean? So we all feel like when she said, I finally made it, when she said that, she was out, you know what I mean, in our hearts and our minds, she was already like home. She was already home. So, and I think she was just waiting for my sister to get there. So I hate that my sister didn't have the closure that we had, like be able to talk to her and like we did. But she had been there, and talked to her on the phone and all that. But I really, really hated that my sister, the good Lord wanted it to be, it happened the way it was supposed to be. Oh yeah, absolutely she was, because we had while we were sleeping in there with her, my sister and we slept in the room with her, and whenever she was antsy or whatever, she would tell me, she's like, Daddy, I don't know why he's keeping me here. I don't know why he don't go ahead and take me. And I said, Mama, he's not ready for you. It's not your time. And I said, Mama, I said, Daddy will come and get you whenever. I said, have you been seeing Daddy in your dreams? And she said, no, not really. And I said, well, I believe in, because my daddy loved my mama. He worshiped the ground she walked on. And I said, Mama, I think Daddy will come get you when the good Lord it's your time to go home. I said, I think Daddy will come and get you. And my mom's, my sisters have a different dad, okay? And so, I'm the joker of the family. And I said, Lord, Mama, I said, you don't, and Aisel, I had sent her a clip of that video. And thank you, Rachel. Thank you. She's, a lot better off. And there's a thing about people, they say if they pass away on Easter. So it gave us comfort. But I know she's with my daddy, and she was really struggling the last 6 months before she passed away. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was always a daddy's girl, and my mom and I didn't really get close until after my dad died. I mean, we were close. I love my mom always, but I was a rebellious teen, and my brother is her favorite. My brother is the baby, and he's her. He's the apple of her eye, and I was the apple of my dad's eye. So, you know what I mean. No apologies. It's just the way it was. So I really had a hard time when my dad passed away, and I'm not being ugly when I say this, but I didn't think it would affect me like it has with my mom.
um, hey there. But when she said that, there is no doubt in my, you know what I mean? I mean, me and my sister-in-law got good. She looked at me and listened, my mom, oh, there's a little bit more. Okay, I got to tell you this. I forgot about this. So my mom had a hold of my sister-in-law's hand, and Gina told me, she said, Joe, she has got a hold of my hand, and I mean, like a tight grip. She said she is not letting go. Well, my brother, I called him. I said, you need, because we didn't know. I didn't know we just knew that morning she was not herself, and we didn't know if this was the time or what. So, we called everybody we could get in. My brother got there, and I had told him what she had said, or my sister had one. Anyway, he knew. Well, he come in, and I went back to the foot of the bed and sit at the foot of the bed, and he stood at the head of the bed, and he leaned down and he kissed Mama on her forehead, and Gina, I mean, she loved her. She was just like a daughter to her, and I just think everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, and she was supposed to be there at that moment. She was supposed to be the one my mom was holding her hand, and so whenever she finally passed, on Easter, um, whenever she finally, it was it took several hours after the breathing changed and all that. And it's crazy. Like with my dad, he didn't have COPD or emphysema. My mother did, and she was on oxygen. My dad was on oxygen also, but he didn't require it like my mother did. He was just on it. But when we took the oxygen off my dad, when we knew that it was over, when we took the oxygen off my dad, he passed away. We were scared to do that with my mother because she was already struggling. And the last thing any of us wanted was to see her struggle more. So we left the oxygen on. It was, I called the nurse and I'm like, they were on their way, but they lived an hour and a half away. I said, what should we do? She said, leave it on or leave it on. We thought it was prolonging it, but at the same time, we didn't want her to struggle either. So anyway, whenever it was all over with, mother had to be changed and, put in some before the funeral home got there. And my sister-in-law was so good. They ran us out of there, her and my niece, and they took care of them. That was hard. It wasn't, that was a hard thing to do. And I just have so much love and gratitude for them. I would have done it for them also, but, at that time, we weren't able to do that, and so it's just, I just am a firm believer that the good Lord takes care of things like that, and they happen the way, he wants them to happen. So, full side, so good to see you guys. So, okay, so thank y'all for listening. I didn't know I was going to talk about that, but anyway, I was going to, okay, so I have been crazy about this Charlie Kirk, you guys. I have been like Candace Owens. I look forward to her video. That is the shadiest. I don't care which side you're on. You have to admit that has been some shady in the house crap. The stuff, all the events around his execution and stuff. So I think it is close to being more brought to light. I mean, it is something else. But anyway, that's what I've been watching mostly. I haven't been watching the Britney, and I hadn't even been watching Queen. I got so burned out on Bullhorn Betty, and of course I see things like I know they took BJ. I've never even watched her, so I just get most of it. But it was all, I've had bigger fish to fry, so I haven't been really worried about that kind of stuff. But I do have to tell you guys. So Mallory, any of you guys that have been around, you'll know the OGs. Mallory has got a new page, a new channel, or maybe it's her old one, and she's called it Mallory Gen X. Anyway, I still see things show up in my. We kind of like when she loved Molly, we kind of we talked behind the scenes and everything, and so we I thought we're okay. But then when the election happened, she made this huge post video or something. Basically, I felt like talking directly to me. Maybe she wasn't, but it's a lot of coincidences, personal things in there. You know what I mean? Over me being voting for Trump. So anyway, and I'm not like that. Look, you vote for today, and it popped up, and I about pissed myself laughing. Y'all have to go look at it if it's still up. She put on there. Now she was directing it at certain people, and I knew I wasn't me because I haven't been, having anything to do with her, talking to her or nothing. But the things that she said was so. I was third level embarrassed for her. I mean, it was basically because they had not been financially supported. They had cut off the funds, I guess, and one of them that she was referencing, person had helped her financially, but she had a parent that had passed away. And Mallory, y'all had just anyway. She put on there that she put 3 bullet points that nobody could ever say that she talking about money, asking for money, that she had never expected money, she had never harassed. So anyway, I had to comment. I had to come there and tell her now, and being 100 with you, I don't think you can say that. Then she wrote, well, show me I dare you to put a link up to any clip or video where I was doing that. Well, she took all of her, I mean, I didn't go look at it, but I was told that she took all of her old videos down and put them in the vault or whatever. But I know Wendy B, or I'm sure somebody's got an old recording of her. And I mean, it was, even if you were her mod, you had to you know, put it out there, drop her, talk about, you know, giving her money all the time, or she called you out. You know what I mean? So I couldn't believe that she said that. And then the things that she said, it blows my mind that she was so ballsy, man, to say that. I was like embarrassed for her, basically saying that if you to buy her to have friendship or whatever, I was like, holy crap, you've got to be kidding me. And I told her, I said, it sounds like to me that you need to go. And I said, people should have to pay you to be your friend. I said, all I want out of my friends are consistent kindness, being consistent and being kind. That's all it requires to be a friend of me. Being loyal. But sounds like to me you need to get off of YouTube and go to the app millionaire match or whatever it is. Match me with a millionaire, because that's what you need. Find you a sugar daddy or sugar mama, whatever your preference is. Because and leave, don't be looking for it here on YouTube. Can y'all hear me? I may have dropped off because I've been jabbering a lot. Can y'all still hear me? You hear my little kitty cat or big kitty cat? Okay, so nobody is saying anything, so I'm thinking I may have dropped the call or dropped the thing. But I am getting to a spot that's going to be choppy if I haven't lost you. So anyway, I will get off of here. Oh, hey, you can hear me? Hey, be kind. I didn't know if I had dropped. I will be getting spot spotty pretty soon because I'm on one of the little back roads now. But anyway, I guess I'll wrap it up. I just wanted to, yes, you can. Good deal. Good deal. Thank you for coming in. I haven't been live in a long time. I didn't know if I would remember how, but it's like riding a bicycle. How have you been? Okay, you guys, I'm gonna get up here. I need to stop and get me something to eat, and it's fixing to get spotchy here anyway. So, uh, thank y'all for coming in, and you know what? I may go live at my sister's, and for old time's sake. But anyway, it was good chatting with you guys, and I will catch you on the flip side.